Hopefully this works. Just share this with the lads. Hello, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, and otherwise. So my name is Devious, and today we're talking PvP. But first, must inform the lads. So, welcome. Hello, everyone. What's up? I've been playing a fair bit of Final Fantasy XIV PvP. I haven't done, like, everything. I haven't really gotten into all of the classes quite yet. But I have played at least all of them once. And yeah, I have some things to say. Hey, what's up, Jack Wolf? I'm doing pretty alright. So, Cloud, how you doing? But anyway, I've noticed a few trends in Final Fantasy PvP that I kind of want to discuss. And the way I'm going to do that, and I was debating on whether or not to do a tier list kind of thing. Which, spoilers, I decided that, yeah, I might as well. Actually have a tier list up here, but no, you can add a row. Un momento. Un momento whilst I reorganize yon tier list shenanigans. Sorry, guys. Oh, that looks awful. Hold on a minute. All right, that's a little better. Okay, so Spartan Mando, my man, is kill the Machinist first a trend or something monks do because they think it's funny? So I'm gonna give you fair warning as a monk, and I am a monk main, so I can genuinely say this. As a monk, my job is to lock down one person and make their life extremely miserable. And then if/when they die, move on to somebody else. And because of that, my targeting priority usually boils down to whoever's doing the most damage. So, me personally, I usually try and focus on like a samurai or a ninja because those are, you know, up front, kind of fragile, and you can get them off the board fairly quickly. But yeah, Machinists, Black Mages, Summoners are a big one, Bards, basically any ranged DPS is kind of on my shit list by default. Red Mage PvP main, can confirm. Oh yeah. So, what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go down the list. And I'm going to try and go down, like, the normal list and do it, like, you know, to start at Paladin. But I have so many issues finding my stuff that this might be a little strange. So, disclaimer, I do not have enough experience to talk about every single class ad nauseum. Or in detail, rather. So I'm going to talk about the ones that I do know, and I'm going to kind of brush over what I've seen playing against the other classes that I don't know. So now that we got that squared away, let us go ahead and begin. So, hey, what's up, Jen? I'm playing White Mage, also play Bard, Reaper, and Dragoon quite a bit. I've noticed that melee DPSs actually perform generally pretty well. I've even seen Reaper doing fairly well lately, funnily enough. But anyway, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead, get in on it. So, first on the list is Paladin, and Paladin is, Paladin performs about as well as you think it would. It's the stereotypical tank, and it does its job fairly well. The skills are not overly flashy, but I can't even target them. Can I do this on myself? No. So Guardian is probably an underrated ability, actually. I don't see a lot of people using it, but I'm also not specifically paying attention for it. Paladin is the escort class, if that makes any kind of sense. And to that end, I believe that it's fairly powerful, but I haven't used it enough to really confirm this. So, with Intervene, already you have a decent amount of mobility on Paladin, which is a little uncharacteristic, but I'm digging it. Confettier, it's an AoE that also heals you. You know, decent. But Shield Bash, Holy Sheltron, and Guardian essentially allow you to pick someone on your team and dive into the BS with them. If you choose a samurai or a ninja or even basically any melee DPS that really knows what they're doing and you decide that they don't take damage, then they're going to have an absolute heyday while you're running fades with them. And there's not really a lot that the enemy can do about it. Now here's the funniest part of this. They have the single best defensive LB of any class in PvP. And I know there's going to be some argument with that, but hear me out here. If you pop Phalanx in the middle of an absolute shit show, and then you pop Guardian on top of, say, a Samurai or a Dragoon or a Monk, anyone who's doing a lot of damage in an area, and this could be anything from like Red Mage to, hey, what's up, Merwin? You doing okay? No, like this could be anything from Red Mage to Black Mage, Summoner, anything that does a lot of wide angle area DPS. Machinist also fits in here. So you pop Phalanx into Guardian and then just start swinging out with basically anything you feel like. The person that you're guarding is going to have a completely free time of things outside of CC, but they're not going to be taking much, if any, damage. Which essentially means that you can give someone a free pass to use all of their stuff without any recourse whatsoever. That is very powerful. But I don't see a lot of people doing that. So Paladin's kind of in a strange spot, actually. It's not very self-sufficient, I've noticed. The couple of times that I've dueled a Paladin, it kind of boiled down to the Paladin is not doing enough damage to kill me, but I'm also not doing enough damage to kill the Paladin. So this is it's a very cockroachy kind of class. It refuses to die, but it doesn't do a whole lot in the realm of, you know, actually making things happen. This is a really good class to hold a point to, by the way. In Crystalline Conflict, these are one of the most annoying classes to shove off of the point just because they're so freaking persistent and you can't get them down. I've been playing Summoner for Frontlines because Bahamut LB is strong against large groups. For CC play, CC I play a few jobs, Machinist, Dragoon, Ninja, Warrior. It's actually a really good setup for CC. Ninja is great at headhunting, Warrior is hyper aggressive. Machinist and Dragoon, those go without saying. But anyway. Yeah. I think Paladin is solid. I don't want to give a hard, like, good or bad on Paladin yet. It seems fairly middle of the road. And you know what? I'm going to do something that I have never done on the channel before. I'm going to make a tier list. So, what do you guys think? Where does Paladin fit into Yon shenanigans? Let me hold on. How do I? Where's the transform? There's the transform. Where's fit to screen? There's fit to screen. There we go. Okay, so C? You think Paladin's a C? Please do explain that one. I've noticed that Paladin is a little bit on the annoying side to get anything done with, but I don't know about putting it all the way at C. Yeah, for me, Paladin is kind of a B pick. It's not ridiculously good, but it's definitely not bad. and you survive so well that I don't really think... Yeah, I don't know. It does its job very well, but there's not a lot of versatility with it. So I'm gonna go with... I've never played it myself in PvP. From your description, I said B or A. I'm gonna go with B, mainly because it doesn't have enough damage to really do much with. Probably put it in B if it doesn't do well diving in. Then it's relegated more to point defense or off tank. I mean, that's kind of what I see it used for. Warrior is more often than not your main tank because it can be hyper aggressive and is similarly survivable. They can be pains in the ass when you're not when you're against one, but it's not a class you groan at seeing on the other side. I kind of do, just because their LB is really annoying, but yeah, I agree with that. So Paladin is kind of it's a niche role, sort of. Like, it does the escort job really, really well. You can pick a teammate and just be their buddy for the entire time. You're a good wingman class. Outside of that, though, it doesn't really do well in the solo game. You can't carry games with it nearly as easily as some other classes. So I think I think we're in agreement here. I think B is a fair rating on that. So let's go ahead and go back. Now we're going to talk about a really fun pick. Definitely going to be controversial. Let's talk about Warrior. And C was because I'm in the middle of dungeon and tapped out. I mean to contribute to the team list. Okay, I was kind of wondering. It's like, damn, is there something about Paladin that I'm missing? Completely understandable if there is, but still. Okay, so let's talk Warrior. Warrior is very strong. You have one of the best engages in the game. That is an AoE stun. You also have a dash, and then you have this thing, which basically decides, oh yeah, I'm not gonna keep a lot of damage, but I'm gonna do a lot of damage. Then you have your that thing. And that's on top of your main combo, in which you just refuse to die. So yeah. Also, you have the pull, which it also does a heavy for 5 seconds. I am fairly certain that Warrior got all of the CC that they took away from Gunbreaker and Dark Knight. And don't you worry, I'm going to get talking about Gunbreaker. Trust me, I'm going to get talking about Gunbreaker. So, okay, look. Warrior is one of my favorite classes, just the way it's built, right? So you have fantastic engage with Primal Rend. It's an AoE stun, and if you have inner release going, it does double damage. It's like a truck. That's on top of having Fell Cleave once you hit Primal Scream. And then you have... I'm going to be honest, I didn't even really look at this. I thought this was an AoE thing, because they put it in my force slot. That's usually where AoE goes. No, this does more damage. Yeah, this does more damage as your target. Oh, and it reduces target damage. Okay, I wasn't even aware of that. I've been using that wrong. But then Bloodwetting is... Even after the nerf, Bloodwetting is still... It's a good survivability tool. So, basically... Where's the shot caller? Oh, yeah. Warrior Easy S tier. Mm-hmm. It was an amazing accidental contribution. No, that was good. That got us talking about it. I appreciate that. As much as it pains me to say, a Warrior is A rank or higher, mostly because they can just yoink people into the murder zone for your squad. Oh yeah. War is stupid strong, pain to go against, but super fun to play. I agree completely. So Warrior is my ideal class in my experience, because you have the psychotically good engage of Primal Rend, and this is only on a 15-second cooldown. This happens at least 6 times a fight, assuming you actually manage to wipe your enemy and they don't just run away. This is a constant thorn in the side for the enemies. And then once you hit Primal Scream and get into that inner release, then you're really working, because this hits like a cannon. Onslaught is just extra... it's just extra maneuverability. And I didn't even realize that this is designed as an engage tool because it does more damage the more HP target has, similar to oregano or freaking oregano. Yeah, it's just there's so many tools, especially with Blota, because if you dive on a target and they run away, yank them. Just yank their asses back. There's not much that they can do unless they're going to pop their cleanse and their guard. If a warrior decides that you're not doing anything, there's not a lot that you can say about it. This is my Leona. For those of you who don't know, when I played League of Legends a lot, Leona was my main, and the whole way I played her was max cooldown reduction and stuns. Just stuns for days. I am the engage, so warrior is my go-to. Or warrior is, it is very representative of my go-to. And I'm going to be honest, even after the nerfs, just because of the kit, I can't really put warrior anywhere else, in my humble opinion. Yes, if you choose to lock down the enemy warrior, then, it's just like locking down anyone else. My laptop is doing strange things. That's weird. Sorry, I've got my laptop open and I'm watching chat on that while I do stuff on my main. Yeah, no, warrior in general, I can't really see warrior being anywhere else. It just had its value is built as a combination between the damage output that it can have, especially once you get the LB going and get the fell cleaves and your primal Ren does even more damage, on top of the fact that it already has a crap load of utility with the amount of stuns and crowd control it has. So I really can't put it anywhere else but S tier. So if anyone would like to dispute that, by all means, but I think that's just kind of agreed upon by the entirety of the community at the moment. Even after the nerfs, warrior is just so very strong. And that said, now we get to talk about a little bit more of a controversial subject, Dark Knight. I have not played Dark Knight enough to actually really be able to to talk about it all too much. But I have seen a friend, Cades Robotic Nut, go check him out on Twitch if you can. I'm sure most of you guys are already following him on Twitch. But I've seen Dark Knight do some really spicy things. And the fact that they actually have one of the two invuln stages is really, really nice. Like, Warrior and Gunbreaker both do not have an invuln, but Paladin and Dark Knight do. Dark Knight is definitely more of a damage dealer, though. It is still enough of a tank to be called a tank. It is a little bit more on the spicier side because you got to balance your Shadowbringer ability, which I think is really cool, by the way. In general, especially with the draw-in from Salted Earth and the bind that you can hit people with, it's great. Quietus is fantastic. You get your usual shenanigans there. Not as much maneuverability, I've noticed, as not as much maneuverability as Warrior, but it still does a respectable bit of damage, and with the Blackest Night, you are still fairly survivable. Also, yeah, Quietus heals. I just wanted to be sure about that one before I said it. I think Dark Knight is it's a good class. It does what it says it does, which is it's a more of a bruiser. Let's see. Yep, Sonic Smash, Axe, Gobert. Oh yeah, definitely. Warrior's psychotic. Can't cut Emo Boy if he cuts himself first. Alright, chill. That's a little dark, dude. It's stupid fun to yeet yourself the enemy with the pounce. Granted, it's a pain to get yourself back out if you accidentally yeet yourself into the middle of a group. True, but Dark Knight kind of works, in my opinion, a little bit like a combination between a Warrior and... God, if I can remember how to brain. I forgot where I was going with this. It's basically a combination tank and DPS. It does a lot of damage. Color, shut the fuck up. I'm not even reading that. But yeah, it does a decent amount of damage. It survives fairly well with its regen options. And once you have Eventide up, you literally become invulnerable for a while. And you do a crap load of damage. So this is it's kind of like a Berserker class, actually. I'd say Dark would be a solid B+. I've only played against them, but that pull it has can be a pain if done right. Definitely, very much so. Oh, okay, I remember what I was trying to say. It's kind of like a combination between Warrior and Reaper, because your LB comes up really fast in combination or in comparison to a bunch of others. To be fair, Dark is a great distraction on their LB. People see someone drop to 1 HP and immediately switch to focus just to see and not die for 20 seconds. Yeah, pretty much. Now, Dark Knight is a really good hyper aggro kind of class. I have enjoyed it the few times that I've played with it. I can't really get it to work as well as I would like, but it seems to do its job fairly well, which is to be kind of a mix between DPS and tank. And yeah, I think it's a good class. I would say that it is niche enough that I could see an argument for B tier. I've seen them perform well enough that I kind of want to put them into A tier, but I do think that's a little bit of bias on my part. So, by all means, discuss. Fortunately, all the regen and invulnerable abilities will not help you when getting hit by 4 or 5 stuns in a row. Oh yeah, the stun lock in PvP is absolutely atrocious at the moment. And Dark Knight does kind of contribute to that with the pull in and bind. Salted Earth into Salt and Darkness, by the way. This is a fantastic ability for point holds, just because it turns an area into a mosh pit, and then if you hit your Eventide, you can do so much damage in such a short period of time. But at the same time, it is still kind of a niche sort of playstyle. Because if people are focusing you, you're going to die. There's not much that you can say about that. I'd say A, I find they are better than Paladin, but not as good as Warrior. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling A for Dark Knight. What do you guys think? Because we know what's coming. We do know what's coming. I would say, so personally, this is where I would put it. Just because Dark Knight, it does its job as a more DPS-oriented tank very well, in my opinion. But I have noticed that you do need to be on top of your game for it. It is a little bit more, it's a little bit more game knowledge intensive. You have to know what you're doing, otherwise you're just not going to do too much damage with it. Unlike Warrior, where you just sort of yeet yourself in and swing out. And even Paladin is fairly intuitive. But you really have to pace yourself as Dark Knight. So, yeah, I would say, like, either top of B tier or slightly closer to bottom of A tier. How do we feel about that, guys? That's about where I would put it. And yeah, I know, it's coming. It is coming. Should probably organize these before we get started. Let's put these as they are. A tier. Okay, we're happy with low A. I'm happy with low A. If you guys are happy with low A, then I'm gonna leave it in low A. So let's pop back over here. Now we get to talk about this one. God, this hurts. So I can't even demonstrate the vast majority. So have the changes helped Gunbreaker at all, or does it still hurt your soul? It still hurts my soul, but it did help a little bit. So I can't even demonstrate all the abilities because of the draw and junction. Jenny, good with that? Awesome. God, I hate this ability. And fair warning, rant inbound, because even if I completely force myself not to do it, it's gonna happen. So the trick behind Gunbreaker is you get your draw and Junction, and that changes this ability to either Blasting Zone, which is just straight up more DPS, Nebula, which is a kind of like a Cheetan-ish Reflect. I'm going to come over. Nah, I'm trying to make a point here. But anyway, Nebula's actually pretty okay. Like, it's not a bad ability, but it's not nearly good enough. So yeah, reduces damage taken by 20% and delivers an attack with potency of 3,000 every time you suffer damage. That's good, but you die too quickly for this to matter. I still don't understand why they made the Junction enemy dependent. Why didn't they just make it like a mode switch, like sane people? Honestly, I wish they'd just freaking remove it. Like, seriously. Okay, the way... Oh, I just got my LB. That's fine. Okay, look. The problem that I have with this... yeah, let's just go with Jugular Rip. Why not? So, the only abilities, literally the only abilities that draw and Junction affects are your continuation abilities. Nothing else. It helps, not at fucking all, for anything except for your continuation abilities. That is all it affects. So let's talk about this. Some of Gunbreaker's clunky at best. No, the abilities flow together really well. It's just the numbers are trash. So let us discuss. Hypervelocity. Delivers an attack with potency of 2,000. Useless. No one is going to feel that. I have 61,000 HP. 2,000 means fucking nothing. Creates a barrier around self that absorbs damage equivalent to a heal of 5,000 potency. Honestly, that ain't great either. 5,000 potency is, yeah, it's not even one basic ass ability. Except for maybe Jugular Rip, because that's another continuation. That's the damage on these is so bad. Okay. Calm down for a moment. Yeah, they want the FF8 flavor, but it would be more of a general debuff on target than general buff on self. I agree. It's half an underpowered max distance in Astro. Yeah, pretty much. So, let me finish reading over this. So, you do an attack of 2,000. Okay, the damage itself is useless, but sure, we continue. To be fair, that is piggybacking off of the 6,000, so that's technically like an 8,000 potency attack as base, because you have to do Savage Claw beforehand. So fair enough, that's 8,000, that's not bad, but it is 2 button presses. We gotta remember that. If you have Tank Junction, and bear in mind, you only get one of these effects. If you have Tank Junction, then you get the 5,000 potency shield. That's gone in one attack, and you're still going to take damage off of the attack. And in the middle of an absolute shit show like tanks usually get themselves into, you do not notice this in the slightest. I can confirm this. I've played enough Gunbreaker and BVP trying to make it work to know. So, let's say you go DPS Junction. It's literally just 2,000 extra damage. That is nothing. DPS Junction is one of the most freaking useless ones, because is it just 2,000 extra? Yeah, it's only 2,000 extra on every single one, and you get Blasting Zone, which is 10k on a 20-second cooldown. It's trash! I warned y'all this is going to be a rant. Okay, so the Tank Junction bonus is bleh. The DPS bonus is useless, more or less. And bear in mind, by the way, you don't get the DPS Junction bonus on any of these abilities, except for the continuation ones. So you don't get it off of Gnashing Fang. No. Doesn't the Junction affect the LB? No. No, it does not. Yeah, no, it doesn't affect the LB at all. Junction doesn't do crap to the LB. Anyway, let's talk about the last one. And I've mentioned Nebula. It's not great. It's you can kind of make it work, but unless you have a healer on you, this is also not useful. Not much anyway. So the healer junction, significantly more useful, but it's a cure of 8,000, which is pretty decent. Not the greatest, but still pretty decent, especially for an on-tank ability. Then you get a 12-second, 3,000 cure potency regen. That's not bad, but with the amount of damage that a tank is usually taking, it's barely a drop in the pond. Only speculation is that they're trying to track your overall DPS and limit it overall, so they're not factoring continuation. They're factoring continuation plus the base skill before it's still bad. Yeah, I know. The numbers are just, they don't line up. The numbers are just awful. Especially considering that by itself is on a 15-second cooldown. So you got a solid, like, if I'm doing my math right, you have a solid 7 seconds where you cannot be using this if you're really on top of it. Maybe you should save a lot your aggravation, just put this one in an E tier list and move on. I don't know, but I wanna get my thoughts out. So as far as I know, the heal is good. 20k heal when recube you can spam 15k. Yeah, pretty much. It's just the numbers are not good on Gunbreaker, man. And honestly, I could forgive all of this if the DPS junction actually turned you into a melee DPS, if the tank junction actually made you hard to kill, or if the healer junction actually let you be a regen tank. If any of those were there, I would probably not be as aggravated about this. But here's the thing that really pisses me off. This is the part that really kills it. This is the part that pushes it over the edge. On Paladin, you have a stun. Not like the greatest stun in the world, but it's a single target stun. It's pretty decent. And also, Paladin is just, it refuses to die. We've been over this. It's the cockroach class. It does not die. On Warrior, you have the most engaged initiation and all of that stuff in the game, on top of having a bunch of survivability. On Dark Knight, you still have some CC alongside a decent amount of damage and a decent amount of survivability. You guys want to see something really stupid? For those of you who don't know Gunbreaker, you want to see the CC that Gunbreaker has? The only crowd control that Gunbreaker has? It's right there, on the second tick of your LB. Gunbreaker is not a tank in PvP. And it genuinely hurts my soul to say this. But the only CC that you have, and I will demonstrate it thusly. First of all, this is a cool ability. But look at the damage ticks. They're garbage. And then the last bit, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's the only stun that you have. And yeah, it's decent damage at the end bit, but you move so slow, it is genuinely painful. Given how fast the LB is going up, maybe you can make an argument that it's kind of like Reaper, where you don't really, your normal form is not that great, but if you turn into, LB form, then you're doing okay. But I don't know, man. Like, let's skip the BS right now. Let's stop playing. God, it hurts, but yeah, I cannot imagine Gunbreaker being good. They want to keep the flavor, make the massive stance modes not a consumable spender. Well, it's not a consumable spender because you don't lose it now. Once you have it on, it's on even past death. They changed that. But it's still just not good. Saying that was SE's goal. Jobs aren't in roles per se in PvP. I understand that, but you have to have some form of identity just with the colors of them. If you try and tell me that Gunbreaker is a bad melee DPS in PvP, I'm going to assume that the entire PvP game is just trash still. as an outsider. Like, I know personally that it's not like that, but like it is a tank. There's no reason for Gunbreaker to not still be a tank. Even so, even if Gunbreaker just, you know... Damn it. Okay, my laptop is acting a fool. It's being stupid again. Okay, there we go. Going to dinner? Alright, man. What I'm trying to say, and I'll try and sum this up in one sentence. Gunbreaker should have some form of identity. I'm okay with it being a DPS. I'm okay with it being a tank. I'm okay with it being kind of somewhere in the middle, like, say, Warrior or Dark Knight. A little less so with Warrior. But it doesn't do either of those jobs well. It has no use at the moment. If you put Gunbreaker in any situation, I guarantee I can always find another class that is objectively better. And I've also heard the argument that, oh, well, you can, you know, you can just be like, it's a jack of all trades. It's good at a bunch of... No, it's not good at any situation. I can figure out any class that can just be better than Gunbreaker objectively in most situations. I would say that Monk is a better Gunbreaker than Gunbreaker. It does more damage, it's more consistent, it has more survivability, and it has a crap load more CC. Okay, I'm just going to stop talking about this because otherwise this stream is going to be like 6 hours long. The stream is still going, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, undertuned overall is my assessment. If they're not going to get large number jumps, it needs more CC, one or the other. I agree completely. And you know what? What I would say, because I've seen this. I have seen this done. This is a mechanic in the fucking game. We're about to talk about it, in fact. I would say, keep the Junction if you really need to. But have abilities on... Here, let me pop over. So, Gnashing Fang. That's your core ability as Gunbreaker. That's the one that they're saying everybody should have, right? That's the big boy. So, Gnashing Fang into, not Burst Strike, into Savage Claw, into Wicked Talon. No matter what you have, no matter which class you're playing, Gnashing Fang, have it always give you a shield. Or maybe it gives you a heal. Or maybe it just does more damage. Probably just more damage, honestly. You could probably double this damage and it would still do pretty good. Maybe not that much. Say it does 8k. Up the damage. And then on Savage Claw, have it give you a shield like Brutal Shell does. Maybe a little bit more powerful because this is on a longer cooldown. And then on Wicked Talon, have it do some kind of a stun. Or a CC, a slow, a heavy, something, anything to help me control an enemy. Monk is kind of busted, needs a bit of rebalance. I don't know about that. But we'll talk about Monk when we get there. But I don't think that Monk is in the overpowered category. I think it's in a pretty good spot. But we'll get there. But genuinely, we need more to happen on the Gnashing Fang combo. Because at the moment, I don't see why anyone would play Gunbreaker over any other class. Red Mage can flex far better than Gunbreaker, even in terms of tankiness, if played correctly. Exactly! Like, I can't think of a class that doesn't survive better and do more damage. That is a melee. Like hell, even Reaper's got some spice to it, if you play it right. Give PvP, Gunbreaker, Blue Mages, Ethereal Mimicry. I don't know about that. I don't know what it does, but I think I might be stepping a little bit too far. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about Gunbreaker now. We've been over it. There's so much, man. There's so much that could be done to fix this, and it makes me sad. So yeah, let's just not. Oh hey, Monk is up next. So yeah, let's talk about Monk. Since we're here, since we got people talking about it, Monk is terrifying, and I love it. It is one of my favorite classes. The thing with Monk is, and this is why I say that it's not blatantly overpowered. There are specific moments where you have to plan out. Otherwise, your damage is negligible. So, going through your main combo, you will notice it's like the damage is pretty low, but you do get the Wind Resonance, which is an ability you get off of Thunderclap. And basically, it reduces your weapon skill cast time. So this turns you into a very flurry-based kind of melee DPS. Needing 4 people to take down 1 monk is in a good spot. Needing 4 people who maybe don't know the game as well to take down a good monk, yes. Because someone, I think it might have been you actually, said that... Actually, I don't think it was you. Someone mentioned that Gunbreaker, or that classes should not fit into roles. Monk is a tank. It performs well as a tank. And that's kind of the point. Riddle of Earth by itself is a fantastic survivability thing. So the reason I say that Monk is in a good place is you have to plan your attacks well. You do have to be careful about how you go about it. Hopefully in the future they announce they have a full-time team on it now. Nice. God, I hope so. You don't need 4 people to take down Monk or crush him in multiple jobs. They have strong defenses, but the cooldowns are pretty long. True statement. So, Monk is, I like to call it a flurry class. It's all about doing a lot quickly. So, you have your Phantom Rush combo. Notice that this is very long. That is because once you actually get to Phantom Rush, you can amp this to a 15k damage output with Rising Phoenix. So, there's a lot of damage potential. Jackwolf, I think what you're running into is just monks that really know how to play monk. Because there's only one defensive that they have, and their health isn't particularly high. Well, actually, it is quite high. Now that I look at it, it's close to Gunbreaker, but... No, that's just... I'm going to be honest, that is just a good player. Because I do that shit all the time, and I do main monk, and I am quite proud of my ability to play monk. And I mean, Kalar can kind of back me up on this. If Kalar decides that I need to die in a melee, I'm probably going to die. You need someone who knows their class well enough to output the right amount of damage. How many stuns do Monk have again? 1. Technically 2 if you count their limit break. Meteor Dive is hilarious. But, okay, let me go into this. So, Phantom Rush combo, very long, but you have your... there it is. You have your Wind Resonance for weapon skill recast time. That's fantastic. 6-sided star. There's your stun. It's only a 2-second stun, but it increases your movement speed, so this allows you to stick to your target very well. Enlightenment. You shove someone away, and it acts as a damage amp the next time you hit him. Which is fantastic. So... Then you have Rising Phoenix, which is a 3k to all enemies in an area. It's nice, but it also gives you Fire Resonance, which increases damage dealt by next weapon skill by 50%. That is crazy good. Yeah, it's not a weapon skill. Okay, I was about to say, Meteor Dive was a weapon skill. I've been playing Monk wrong. But anyway, so what you do is you Enlightenment, and just hear me out here. What I usually do is I Thunderclap into 6-sided star, then Enlightenment, Rising Phoenix, Thunderclap again to close in, and drop Phantom Rush. And that usually does little over half HP. And that's about the only combo that Monk has that's really, really crazy. But Monk is just, it's a simple class. You keep your main combo going, You stun, shove, and AoE as necessary. You have Riddle of Earth, which it doesn't even give you a defensive, honestly. It just... Yeah, it just does Earth's Reply, and you heal for compiled damage. And it does more damage than an AoE. So, I really don't think that Monk is a busted class. I just think that it has a... It is a one-trick pony. Because you have a very specific kind of rotation that you have to go in. You have to save your Rising Phoenix for the right skills. You have to combo your Enlightenment and your Thunderclap just right. You have to have Thunderclap available, which you have 3 stacks of, so that's usually pretty easy. You have to have it available to combo with Enlightenment. And it's just, there's a flow to it. If you don't know the flow, then it's worthless. If you do know the flow, then Monk is terrifying. So, I would say, personally, I think Monk is about where I want all classes to be. And this is one of the reasons that Gunbreaker pisses me off so much, is because Monk it feels great. And Monk is not overpowered. I will not let you tell me Monk is overpowered, especially when Samurai exists. But I do think that Monk is in a good place. It doesn't have any insta-kill BS mechanics. It doesn't have any infinite combo potential that I've seen anyway. It's just a very aggressive, tanky... it's just a good class, in my opinion. And it functions better as a tank than a couple of the tanks. So that being said... Let's go ahead and hop over here to our tier list. And where's my Monk? Where's my Monk? There's my Monk. Monk is powerful. It just takes a minute to get to their power. Yeah, it's kind of like Black Mage, actually. It does have a little bit of run-up time, but once you get that run-up going, once you get into the flow of things, then Monk becomes very scary. Monk is about mid-A tier. It's literally the bruiser class. Yeah, I know. That's what I would say. I would call it a good bruiser and brawler kind of class. Similar to Dark Knight, actually. So yeah, I think I'm liking mid to high A tier, or I would say mid A tier, because it does have, there are some classes that it struggles against, not too many, because it has just so much mobility, and being able to stick to your target it's so easy with Monk. So I would say it takes 6 GCDs, then it's scary for a massive hit for 30 seconds. I mean, yeah, kind of, but you can kind of piecemeal your combo in to do some decent amount of damage. It is very sort of cadence reliant, if that makes sense. But yeah, Monk can be very scary, but in general, I really don't think it's busted. It's fun, definitely, and it has some strength. So I would say, yeah, like maybe mid to low A tier because of the run-out time. Want to hear what you say about Jumpy Boy next? Oh yeah, we're going to get to that. I didn't really mention it, by the way, but Monk's Meteor Dive, which is the ability where you like dive on someone and do 12k damage and break their guard. And actually, let me hop back over real quick. I almost turned on my Minecraft scene. So Meteor Dive. I didn't really talk about the LB yet. So you rush the target and deliver an attack with a potency of 12,000. That's good. That's really good. Mainly because no matter what, you can remove a target's guard. That is fantastic. Afflicts target with Meteor Dive, rendering them unable to move for 3 seconds. It's basically you're combo breaking them while you do this. Cool. If the target does not have guard, however, you deal an additional 12k potency. Which, honestly, I really like this. If they're not guarding, it's 24k, and it holds people for the full duration. I know. I do know. Even if they're in guard, I believe it holds them for the full duration, because like there's nothing on here that guard would prevent. So no matter what, you're holding someone in place, and you're doing quite a bit of damage to them, whether they like it or not. So, yeah, Meteor Dive is fantastic. I really, really like it. It's a wonderful skill, especially when you have someone who's really on top of their guard usage and they're just really, really annoying. So I would say because of that little bit of utility, because of the stuns and the control and the mobility, I would say that Monk is about mid to high A tier. And I know I'm being a little biased, so let's compromise there and let's say mid to low A tier. Because it is very specific in how you have to play it. I understand that. But that's about where I'm sitting right now. And I assume if you guys disagree with me, then you will tell me very shortly. Now let's get to the next one. Let's talk about Dragoon. Holy crap, Dragoon is a lot of fun to play. It is very much a higher risk, high reward kind of class. However, it does have quite a bit of output and a little bit of survivability. So you can kind of, survive long enough to do your stuff. Your main combo, I don't think there's really anything too spicy going on here. Yeah, it's just kind of your basic main combo. Have it rolling as you do. Chaotic Spring. Oh, right, this is your heal. I thought that was your jump for some reason. I was like, what? Okay, so, yeah, Chaotic Spring it's an 8,000 damage and it's a heal. I mean, where are you going to go wrong with that? Gearskogel is... This one, this is why I say Dragoon is high risk, high reward. Because you do more damage, and it's a good AoE, but you also take more damage for a solid 10 seconds. So you are very squishy while this is up. But that also combos into Nestrand, and Nestrand is an execute. Not exactly a great one, mind you, but it is still, it helps you close out kills. Well-trained Dragoon is huge burst. Anyone caught off guard can be finished, but it does require knowing your range bonuses, your damage bonuses, and your timing. Yeah, I would say Dragoon is one of the higher... it's one of the higher skill cap classes, one of the higher skill ceilings. You do have to know when to go in and when to use your abilities in order to survive. Old school Blood for Blood. I never knew what that was, but I can nod and say I did. But aside from that, it's also got some decent general abilities. If I can remember how to brain. So yeah. You've got High Jump, which is only on a 10-second cooldown. This is great mobility. You've got Elusive Jump, which is even better, and that combos into Wormwind Thrust. This hits like a fucking truck. And especially when you hit someone at max distance, this hits like a freight train. This is one of the most surprising and fantastic executes that I've ever seen. I think this might actually be a little bit overtuned. Especially if you dive in, Gearskogel, Nastron, and then Elusive into Wormwood out into somebody. And especially, by the way, and this is the scariest combo that I've seen. Blood for Blood was an ability that upped your damage but made you squishy. Yeah, pretty much. So, the scariest combo that I've seen so far is, while next to someone, Gearskogel, Nastron, Chaotic Spring to heal, Elusive Jump, Wormwood Thrust, High Jump, Horrid Roar, Limit Break. That was basically one duel completely over. That deleted two people because one of them was standing right next to the other one. Yeah, there's some pretty spicy combo potential for Dragoon, and its abilities they synergize pretty well. Sky Shatter, I don't need to talk about Sky Shatter, guys. Come on, it's so freaking good. You jump, you remove Heavy Bind and Half Asleep, which is fantastic. Doesn't remove Stun, but that's fine. And then you drop a 20k damage blast, potentially 30k damage blast into a small area, and it creates a barrier. Yeah, no, Dragoon is it's really strong. Elusive, Gearskogel, Wormwind at distance. Does Gearskogel have that kind of range? Yeah, I suppose it does. Fairly close. I've always seen Gearskogel done before the Elusive, though. But, yeah, fair enough. High Jump, Heaven's Thrust, and Strand. Your Bread and Butter Burst. Yeah, pretty much. I've seen it done a little bit differently, but you've been playing Dragoon enough, I ain't even going to question it. You become Doomfist? Yeah, pretty much. But no, Dragoon is, it's It is squishy. You have to know when to go in so you don't just immediately die. But I mean, it's a good class. I would put it above Monk actually. As much as I hate to say it, I'm not even gonna like use the ability. Well, okay, I'll use some of the abilities in case y'all don't know what this looks like. Your little dive away, like smacking. I didn't mean to hit you. Boom. And the frequency with which abilities come out is hilariously fast. It feels a lot like Monk, actually, with the how frenetic that it is. I really do like Dragoon. It's a lot of fun to play. So I would say I'm going to put Dragoon. I'm going to put Dragoon above Monk in A tier. It's above Monk, but not by too much. I would agree with that. They are fairly close. I think in a 1v1, it comes down to skill over actual mechanics. So they're fairly balanced in the 1v1. For team utility and general assistant, like in a team scenario, it is a little bit more in the Dragoon's favor. The LB is more general, and you can nuke people a lot faster. Monk is a little bit more on the survivability side. So I think Monk is a little bit more selfish. Dragoon is a little bit more party-oriented in just that it spreads its damage around a little bit more. And it's easier to get that damage off. Will place LB is higher impact than Monks by a fair shot. Oh, yeah, definitely. 100%. Monk is more of a duelist. Or just... You know, Monk is more of a selfish tank, whereas Dragoon is more of an AoE slayer. Yeah, I would say this looks pretty good. I'm good with that. If you guys are good with that, I'm good with that. I see stuff happening in Discord all over the place. Oh, never mind. We're good. We're good. We're fine. We're fantastic. Back it over to the game. Now then. Those big, hard, long-range hits are also AoE. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. There's, yeah, pretty much. I'm going to stand by my statement. Monk is more of a selfish, survivable tank, and Dragoon is more of an AoE slayer. I think that sums it up pretty well. So now, let's talk about something a little bit different. Do I... Yeah. Wait. Why is it like that? Why is that saying that I... Okay, that's strange. Apparently I have not imported stuff since I got my my ninja going. Anyway, yeah, new outfit for ninja, by the way. Ninja is kind of hilarious, if I'm honest. It is genuinely terrifying in the best way. So ninja is your headhunter. This is the class that you just delete somebody and then are gone. So ninja is not a melee DPS. Do not let it fool you. Ninja is a melee version of Red Mage. Stand by for technical difficulties? Yeah, pretty much. that was not intentional. But anyway, ninja is... Honestly, it's fantastic in my opinion. You do have Mug, which it allows you and your entire team to delete a target. So automatically, Ninja is just... It's great in... it's decent in team play. With your 3 Mudra, you have a lot of abilities that do benefit the team. So you can do that, and then lots of AoE damage. And then you can dive on someone. That's also a stun, and that's a second stun. And then you can jump in and execute somebody. That is an execute, by the way. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage because he wasn't low, but you know what I mean. You have your AoEs. You have these Fuma Shuriken that are just on a constant cooldown. You get 3 stacks of them. This is your main attack, by the way. Then, of course, you have your usual Doton. And it's just, honestly, Ninja is just fun. It's just so much fun. And it does so much damage. And that ability right there, the what does it turn into? Forked Raiju and Fleeting Raiju. It's very strong. it is very powerful. I firmly believe. You do not want to be at half health with a nin as your opponent. They'll be. Oh yeah, definitely. It is very fun to play indeed. Ninja, omae wa mo shinderu. Very appropriate. Ninja is great executioner with decent CC, but it's really the most threatening to low health targets. Yep. It is 100% an executioner, and that's basically it. Oh, right. You can't use the same Mudra twice in a row, which is a little bit on the annoying side, but yeah, double assassinate is hilarious. I'm just trying to get up the limit break. That ability, by the way, the multiple shuriken is terrifying. Now, hopefully, this works. Okay, it didn't proc off of that. But essentially, if your target is at half health, yeah, just straight up incapacitates a foe with HP below 50. I'm pretty sure that bypasses guard, by the way. Because it says, rushes target, delivers an attack with potency of 10k. Incapacitates foes whose HP are below 50. It doesn't say anything about doing damage. So I think this bypasses guard. I could be wrong. But yeah, in general, Ninja it does bypass guard. Oh, that's beautiful. So Ninja has some interesting stuff as well. And I don't use these as much as I should, but notice you have Hutan, which creates a barrier and is very nice. And you also have Meisui, which is a heal. It doesn't tick damage, it just straight up KOs. Yep, okay. Dragoon plus Ninja just wrecks teams. Oh yeah, I've seen some Dragoon Ninja team or Dragoon Ninja pairs that are just freaking terrifying. Played against enough ninjas not to be scared of them now as Dragoon, but you do have to be cautious against them. I actually put them closer to Dragoon than most. Yeah. Ninja it's a class that is surprisingly versatile because of the Hutan and Meisui. You can survive a lot longer than you should as Ninja. But generally you're using those abilities to do more damage. It has a lot of output potential, by the way. And it does a good amount of damage by itself, but it excels as a ranged harasser and headhunter. So if you ever see anyone at 50% health, dive on them and delete them. That's your job. Like, seriously, dive on them with, like, use Shikuchiki to get in, do your assassinate, and then just combo into Bunshin, Mug, and then Forked Raijin, Fleeting Raijin. Start using abilities until then. And if you have if you have this up, that is a 20-yard range. That's as far as the Dragoon's Twin Dragons ability, whatever it's called. So Ninja can be very, very dangerous, but it is also very, very squishy. It doesn't have a lot of abilities to get out of a bad situation. It's not a brawler. It's an assassin. To that end, I do believe that they did their job very, very well when creating Ninja for this particular iteration of PvP. So that being said, I will say its real potential is in a team with coordinated attacks, chain CC with damage bonuses and execute after. This is a thing that gets people saying, how the hell did my HP disappear? I agree completely, which is honestly how it should be. So if I was rating this based off of 1v1s, I would actually put Ninja down here. Because in a 1v1, you are not nearly as powerful as a lot of other classes. However, in a Crystalline Conflict match, I would put it closer to here. Did not realize Bunshin works with Shuriken? Yeah, it works with everything, which is the really terrifying part. If you pop Bunshin and then go into Assassinate, Forked Raijin, and just decide to delete someone, there's not a lot they can say about it. But yeah, because Mug is a general buff, it doesn't count for just you, it counts for your target. It's a debuff rather than a buff. And because of how versatile Ninja is in general, how much AoE it can output, how much it can help lock down a point with Doton, how easily it is to delete someone that you really just don't like, I would actually put it above Monk, close to Dragoon. Ninja is very powerful. It's very strong. But you do have to play it correctly. And that being said, how's about I actually swap this back over first? There we go. So, do we agree with that? Are we okay with Ninja being between Dragoon and Monk? Because I think that's pretty fair, but I've been wrong before. Y'all know the next class we're about to talk about. How long has this been going so far? An hour in and we're not even halfway through. Crap. It's okay. It's about to pick back up because we're in the classes right now that I play a lot of. So fair enough. Remember to hydrate, guys. It's really close with Dragoon. Whether or not it's better is a matter of situation. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I would actually, you know, in hindsight, I would actually put... Well, no. I was about to say that I would put Ninja above Dragoon just for its versatility, but Dragoon also has that AoE damage reduction, which is really, really powerful in a group scenario. So I would say I would say that Dragoon is better in a Crystalline Conflict match. I would put him about equal in a duel, but I mean, I would also put Monk a lot higher in a duel because of how survivable it is. I'd say at high level play, Nin passes Dragoon due to how cautious people are of Dragoon. Yeah, to an extent. But I think it's good where it is right now because I'm not really focused on high level play. I haven't done high level play. Haven't really played Ninja. I should look into it on my own. Yeah, Ninja's a lot of fun. It's you do have to be careful, otherwise you get deleted. But yeah, good class. So I'm gonna keep it where it is. Let's talk about Samurai. Do we really even need to talk about this? I mean, we do. We're going to, because I have some things to say about Samurai, but do we really even need to talk about this? So, Samurai is the Monk times about 10. Reason I say that, you have your main combo, which is, you know, main combo is pretty standard. But then you do your dash, and that gives you extra abilities on your main combo. And that's anything from, like, let's see, I know Oka heals. Mangetsu is just a good AoE damage. Kyosetsu is a bind. Yep. So the amount of engage right off the bat that Samurai has, you have that bind on your first ability, which is good. You have your stun in Minuechi, which is really good. And then, and this is the part that really pisses me off. This is a really good ability. It's 8k damage, unless it's a single target, in which case it's 12k. And then the second one's also 12k. And then, of course, you have your cleanse from Madare into that, which is a 16k drop. And this, of course, is not even talking about Shiten, which is just, you know, you take less damage and it's a reflect. This is better than fucking Gunbreaker's Nebula. It's objectively better because it also gives Kazushi, which increases your target's damage taken and turns your LB into an instant kill. Sorry. So, this is the part that really pisses me off with Samurai. Let me reach out real quick. Samurai, while you perved Catgirl limbs, I studied the blade. Very accurate. I can never pull off Sam. I know how it plays, but execution is another story. Once you get into the flow of it, it's impossible to stop. So, Zenketsu 10. First of all, look how fast it comes out. Observe the button press. Boom. 24k right there, unless it is affected with Chi 10, in which case it's an instant kill. Now, somebody told me this was wrong. But the way this reads, swiftly charge forward, dealing damage to target and all enemies near it with a potency of 24k. Okay, that's a lot. That is a lot. So, if target is affected with Kazushi, which means you pop Chi 10 and they hit you. Now bear in mind, anyone can hit you, and if they get it, if they get Kazushi, then that's on there. It doesn't matter who hits you. As long as someone hits you. And bear in mind, I'm talking about in the melee of a CC match on a point where everyone's mosh pitting together. If target is affected with Kazushi, deals damage equal to 100% of their maximum HP. So if you decide to do this against a tank, the AoE, in theory, does damage equal to the HP, the maximum HP of the tank, which will squad wipe an entire group on a point if it procs. And it ignores the effect of guard when dealing damage, any damage. This ability is busted. So Sam in PvP is as annoying as longsword users in Monster Hunter. Worse. Just like Dragoon because it's safe in my opinion. Yeah, that's fair. So we're going to ignore the fact that Samurai stole Odin's technique? I got more important things to deal with. Enough engaged and disengaged tools to feel alright to me. Yeah, I mean, it's alright, but it's... I firmly believe that Samurai is viciously overtuned, especially with its LB. It's a wide line AoE at 24k that ignores guard and instant kills people who so much as graze you with Chi 10 up. Oh, it's an execute. There you go. The reasons Intensican is only traditionally used by Odin. I can see that. But seriously, the amount of times that I have been squad wiped right at the end when we were about to push into overtime by a samurai it's disgusting. This is I genuinely think that this is the single most overpowered ability in PvP at the moment. Because, like, what is the counterplay? I've heard a lot of people, especially my PvP buddies, saying, oh, just don't attack the samurai when they have Chi 10 up and their LB's up. How am I going to know that in the middle of a 10-player brawl on a point where I'm popping AoE as much as possible? I'm trying to nuke down low targets. I ain't got time to look for that. If the counterplay is noticing a detail that no one will reasonably notice, then I call that busted. It's basically the move that Warrior Light and Dak did. Try to hit each other within Shadowbringers trailer. Funny. Dragoon, but yeah, that same combo is busted. Yep. Oh yeah. No, Dragoon's pretty solid. Samurai is one of 3 reasons why you just do not bunch up together in CC. I'd say there's actually more than 3, but like seriously, what is the counterplay? If they pop Chi 10, you have to look for that tiny little thing. And yeah, I know a lot of people have more up, but that procs on an AoE. If I hit Rising Phoenix in the middle of a group and a samurai has Chi 10 up and they decide to, target me, the higher health monk, because, hey, they hit me. That is 60,000 damage just like that. And it is in an AoE. So, yeah, I mean, I will die on this hill. Samurai is overpowered. It's overtuned to shit. It's got too many tools. In a duel, even this ability that is supposed to be your AoE ability, even this ability does shitloads of damage more than it should. Your freaking Madare or whatever, your Mekios Shui, whatever, nullifies a status effect and can be removed by Purity. It is a second Purity, and it gives you Madare, which is a huge Big Bang ability. And by the way, that has an 8 Yalm range. Meaning you can hit someone... Oh, sorry. You can hit someone from back here. So, like... Samurai just has so many freaking tools to use. It has stuns. It has defensives. It has an extra cleanse. It has good AoE. Both with its main combo, if you do the dash... That also does damage, by the way. So if you can dash in, you could do your AoE, you can do the Ogi Nakamiri, or Namakiri. And that's basically a double tap, if anyone didn't see that, by the way. So you can just bang and then bang, just like that. And if it's a single target, that is as much as your LB does. Samurai is above warrior and tearing. Oh yeah, 100%. I put it there. So, I don't think it is possible to question that Samurai is above everybody else at the moment. Samurai lives at the very tip top of S tier on a golden throne, and we need to knock that bitch off. I do firmly believe that there are 2 abilities in the game that just need to be either removed or have their insta-kill capability deleted, that being the Samurai Zenketsu 10 and the Machinist 3% execute, or 3% insta-kill on the chainsaw. But we'll get to that when we get there. So, yeah, Samurai is top of the tier list at the moment. I'm not letting anyone tell me otherwise. It competes with another job coming up. Alright, we'll talk about that when we get there. I do still firmly believe, though, that Samurai is overtuned to shit. So... we'll get there. Bear in mind, by the way, there are classes that I haven't been able to play as much yet, and that I don't have enough experience with to talk about. We'll discuss them, but they're going in their own tier. So, now that we're done with that, let's talk about Reaper. Reaper is very, very strange. What about White Mage's Transmutate? It's really annoying, but we'll get there when we get there. Let's stay in order, guys. So, Reaper is very strange, in my opinion. It's not bad by any means, but it does feel a little bit underwhelming. However, once you really get rolling, and once you get the limit break gauge building quickly, I can kind of see where it comes from. Especially since this gives you a heavy. That's nice. Death Warrant's pretty good. The shield is pretty good. It's also a damage amp. It doesn't seem to fit together as well as other classes, if that makes sense. Until you get that limit break going. Once the limit break gets going, then scary things start happening because you can do shit like this. Yeah, once limit breaks on, things are very scary. And Communio, of course, much damage. It looks very cool, and Reaper is fun to play, actually. I haven't really been able to make it work, though. Like, I've had good matches with Reaper, but it didn't feel like I was the one doing stuff. Reaper's gotten better with the patch to reduce LB timing, turns into a Jekyll and Hyde situation. I do agree with that. I agree with that a lot. Having the faster LB coming out, it gets Reaper to where it needs to be sooner, so it's more useful more often. When the LB is not up, it does feel a little bit underwhelming, but after I've played around with it a little bit, I've gotten a little bit more used to things, I can kind of see what's going on. I would have actually liked them, like, maybe not as much of an LB timer buff, but maybe cut down Plentiful Harvest recast a little bit. Because, like, no matter what, you're not doing that much damage with it anyway. It's more determined on your Soul Slice, which is already on a 20-second cooldown. So I think those need to be adjusted a little bit. If you cut these recast times in half, or the charge time for the other one, but if you cut the cooldown times in half, put the LB back up to where it was, then you have a very scary class, I feel. Before LB, support damage. In LB, total disruption to the fight. 100%. Because that does a fear, which gets around guard, by the way. And it's one of the things that ticks me off so much, but I do believe it needs to have. That hysteria in the AoE, that is crazy. It immediately turns a fight if your team is on top of things and willing to, you know, pay attention. So, yeah, I think Reaper is in a better spot now than it was, 100%. But I do still think it needs a little bit of work. It feels nice and frenetic to play. It's fun. I don't think that its main off limit break gimmick, which is building up for Plentiful Harvest. Because, like, how many of these... how many... Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that you get... You got stuff by KOing enemies and earning assist. So yeah, that's a little bit better. But generally, I do feel like this is on a little bit too long of a cooldown, in my humble opinion. Because I have never seen that do the full 20k damage in an actual fight. Maybe they put that there knowing that nobody would use it, but... Like, really... Like, it's nice, but you need, like, 8 stacks, right? Or close to it. And that is, with 8 stacks, assuming that you're not getting too many kills, that's still like a minute and a half cooldown. So already it's just, well, okay, so I guess that's decent. I would like to have the option to have it earlier. I don't know. Reaper just feels kind of weird. I've had really good and really bad days with it. So, yeah. The limit break, though, it definitely helps quite a bit. Because this just feels awesome. Throwing that down in the middle of a fight and, like, popping the limit break and just deciding, that person, that motherfucker right there, I'm going to kill him. And being able to do it consistently, oh, I love it. So, I would say the Reaper's a lot of fun. But I do not think that it is on the level as our other spoopy classes. That makes any kind of sense. So, I'm going to put Reaper... What are we feeling about Reaper? Because I don't think it is as good as any of the classes in A tier. And I don't think it's consistent enough to say that it's above Paladin. But I feel like I'm a little bit biased in that. So I'm gonna put it somewhere, and then we can discuss its position. I would put it right there. Because it's not god awful, but it definitely needs a little bit more work, and I do think that it needs a more adjustment than Paladin would to bring it online with everyone else. Excuse me? Oh, I'm still in combat. Look at the hell. B for sure. High B tier. I agree with high B tier. I do still think that Paladin is above it, though, if you understand what I mean. So, like, both of the classes here right now, Paladin and Reaper, they're both high B tier. But I do still think that Paladin is better than Reaper just because they're both gimmicky. They're both niche playstyles. I do think that Paladin does it better and is a little more versatile. And I do value versatility above most other things. Paladin is a better bruiser. Reaper is better damage output. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to balance it as like how much work would I do to the classes to make them better, like to bring them up to A tier. With Paladin, I do think that it would be a much simpler matter of like just amping a couple of numbers maybe. But yeah, Reaper, I feel like Reaper needs a little bit more adjustment. Whether or not I want one above the other is situational. That's a fair point. So yeah, I'm going to say that that's probably more subjective than I think it is. So I'm going to keep this as it is. I'm going to put Paladin at very high B tier. Reaper also at high B tier, but just under Paladin. And these are... I agree with you. Depending on situation, I would say that these are interchangeable. So, I think we can all agree with that, at least at the moment. So now we are finally out of the melee DPSs. Let's talk about something a little bit more controversial. White Mage! I have not played much of White Mage, but I do understand that the Glare Mage archetype is ridiculous. For reference, by the way, that is 5,000 per tick. That is more damage than the Gunbreaker can do with its entire combo if the button presses are lining up. Cure 3 needs a big boost. Having to jump into harm's way often results in your own death. I can see that. I can see that to an extent. If you decide to focus on keeping yourself alive, though, then it's significantly less of an issue. Yeah, that is enemy specific. Actually, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Can we do this to allies? No, I don't believe you can. Okay. That's decent AoE though. That's not bad. That's more AoE than the Monk's ability. But the Monk's ability is also a thing. Why are you looking at me? Excuse me? Wait a minute. Does that... That is a wide AoE. Damn. Yeah, that's pretty good. Doesn't glare get interrupted when you move? Yeah, glare is a cast. So if you move, you do get interrupted. Which does make sense. White Mage is reason number 1 why you do not group together. Oh yeah, definitely. Because like, you have that fun ability, which transmutes people into like a little bunny or a frog or whatever. You have a Afflatus Misery, 10k AoE, scary. That's another 6k, and you get your heal on top of that. Then you can do that. And then that's not even talking about your LB, which goes Fire in Malaysia! And that's also a stun. And now, if I remember correctly, your other stuff gets buffed as well! Yeah, so like... I'm gonna be honest, man. White Mage ain't a healer. White Mage is a magic DPS. And it's a really freaking good one. Now, honestly, though, White Mage is an extremely good healer, but it's also got some fantastic damage output, and its LB is just... It's so strong. These are going to make our own Dead Sea with all this Gunbreaker salt up in here. I'm not apologizing. Gunbreaker sucks, and I'm going to drive it the fuck in until somebody does something about it. Sorry to be like that, but this is happening. And I'm not apologizing. Highest tanking ability without immunity, biggest flip damage, flip damage LB, or limit break, even after the nerf, high damage, insane regen for allies on the press of the button, utility's insane. I agree completely. The amount of output and healing that White Mage can do is frankly a little bit busted. Tooltip doesn't tell anyone as a transmutate, removes the buffs of those affected, including persistent AoEs. Yep. That's, it does specifically say doesn't affect people in guard, which is nice. But yeah, between Miracle of Nature, Afflatus Misery, and like the whole kit is just so freaking useful. Wasn't saying you were wrong. Fair enough. I will go to the Dead Sea to get more salt if I have to. I will make a second Dead Sea. Clara, I thought Samurai was a number 1. I'm not going to group together. Was of 3 top reasons. Yeah. So, I don't think we really need to talk about White Mage too much more. Just that ability by itself. I don't get to get that off nearly as much as I would like. But genuinely, I do believe that White Mage is extremely freaking powerful. And I don't think anyone's really going to try and contradict me on that. So, let's just go ahead, skip over this. White Mage is on the edge of me not having enough playtime. But, salt for me porridge, my man. However, based on how much I've seen it played, I would put it about right there. And I'm only putting it right there because I do believe that a good samurai, is more of a threat than a good white mage. Barely, mind you. But still, the potential is there. White mage is above Sam, hands down. I disagree. Because the thing is, if you have a top tier white mage on a team, let me explain. Range polymorph can end LBs. Yeah, no, but a lot of stuff can end LBs. Any stun can basically take you out of an LB that you can be taken out of. Waters as lilies with salty tears as victims of BVP. Yeah. Okay, so let me explain myself. If you have a top tier white mage in a group, but the rest of your team has no idea what they're doing, you can do a lot of damage, but you cannot completely squad wipe the entire enemy every time your LB is up. It is doable, but it's not as consistent. A top tier samurai can single-handedly carry a game, no cap, and if you try to argue with me, I will call you a liar. I have seen samurais carry entire games. I'm talking like 20 plus kills in one CC match. I have not seen a white mage do that yet. Now granted, yes, samurai does have some counterplay, but so does white mage. You can basically stun lock them out of their AoE. You can dogpile them a lot more efficiently than you can with a samurai. Can we liar then? Because falling to Sam LV doesn't happen very often in higher tiers. I mean, I'm not in higher tiers, man. We're not talking about top tier stuff. We're talking about like in general, and the vast majority of the people are still kind of where I am, which is like somewhere between mid-low and mid. Both are at the carry level. They're just carrying through different methods. I agree. But again, I would say that samurai is a lot easier to solo hard carry than it is for white mage. You could easily do both. Don't get me wrong. A badass white mage will give me nightmares. But I do still think that, especially when we're not talking about high tier, and I am not talking about high tier, I'm talking about all of PvP. I believe that samurai is more of a threat. And yes, it is because of their Zenketsu 10. I do think that ability is outright busted to the extent that I can't justify putting another class above it. Yet is a key word. There are a lot of things you don't see too often, like draw and frontline, which I didn't know was actually possible. Yeah, that's true. Tearing is weird sometimes. Yeah, frontline is completely different. I'm not talking about frontline. Frontline is too chaotic to really talk too much about. The dynamic is completely different, but sorry if you guys disagree with me. This is my tier list. I'm not putting anything above samurai. Samurai it's got too many options, it's got way too much utility, too much damage, and just it's overtuned. It's so overtuned that I cannot condone putting anything above it. So apologies if you disagree, but that's where it's going. It's tier list, man, no worries. Thank you. By the way, I do understand that I could be very, very wrong. But based on my experiences, the quote-unquote research that I've done, and all of the samurais and white mages that I've seen, I'm not putting white mage above samurai. You want to say this? Stuff shifts around depending on personal experience. Yes, very much so. And I do really think that, especially at lower levels, kind of where I play, because I haven't really been doing ranked all that much, but at the level that I'm playing, samurai is far more dangerous because you have people that are not focused on the samurai, and they just accidentally hit them, or they're not paying attention. Chi 10 goes up, and then they LB the tank, and everyone just gone. And white mage cannot do that as efficiently. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking about it now because I'm defending things to people that have already closed out their arguments. So fair enough. Scholar's going to be weird. I mean, they need to give Sam something so they'll stop complaining every patch. Players, okay. No, make them complain more. Bring them down to our fucking level. Bring them down to Gunbreaker's level. See how they like it. Dragoon does that same sort of team wiping at casuals. Okay. Yep. Thank you for pointing that out, actually. Dragoon isn't quite as consistent with the team wiping. It definitely has a lot of potential to do so with all of its AoE, but it's not... The thing that I keep getting at is the one button press, team gone. That's... Or rather, 2 button presses. 2 button presses, the entire team dies. That bothers me. I don't think that should be a thing, but... So, to be perfectly honest, Scholar is one of those classes that fits into I don't have enough experience to talk about. PvE Sam, bring Kaiten back, please. Why? They combined it with the ability that you're supposed to use Kaiten on anyway, didn't they? Oh, whatever. We're not talking about that. Talking about PvP. So, I am not going to talk about Scholar pretty much at all. I have noticed that Scholars do top damage, but I do think that that's a little bit of stat padding on the part of Biolysis into deployment tactics. Because you can drop this down, and it's a 15-second, 3,000 potency damage over time, which is nice. And potency increases if you're under the effect of recitation. What is that? What is that? Where's recitation? I don't know how to get recitation. I don't play this class all that much. Okay, so under limit break. The thing that I've noticed with Scholar is that they usually have the highest damage, especially in frontline. Because you just you Biolysis and then what is it? Deployment tactics? Yeah. To spread it around, and it's just constantly doing ticks of 3k damage to 12 people at a time. So you're gonna get multiple millions of damage. I don't think that damage is meaningful though, because especially when I played it, it was not helping all that much. Mummification is pretty okay. It's it's all right. Adloquium is solid. I mean, it's Adloquium. What do you expect? I don't think it's the best heal ever, but it's kind of okay. But I haven't really seen it do too much to really warrant putting it high tier. However, I also haven't played it nearly enough to really give it a solid rating. So I'm going to be generous and I'm going to put under not enough playtime. I don't have enough experience to give this a hard yes or no. Scholar's high C, low B tier. In good hands it can hang, but it's no white mage. Expedience also gives recitation. Oh, does it? Where's expedience? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, fair enough. That's still on 30-second cooldown, but the point remains. I don't have enough experience with it, so I'm not going to give it a hard, whatever. If I had to right now, I would put it probably mid C tier. But again, I haven't seen enough of them, and I haven't played enough with them to really talk about it much, so I'm not going to. Moving on from that then, let's talk about Astro. Please excuse the fact that I do not have a top on my Astro. I do not play this class at all. Astro, I also don't have a lot of experience with. However, I have seen Astro do some pretty hilarious stuff. Specifically, the gravity into second gravity bind thing. That is an AoE nightmare. And some of the other abilities I have seen pretty spicy. I haven't played Astro at all, though, as you can see. So, yeah, I'm just going to pop over to Sage right off the bat. One second. Come on, swap over. There we go. Astro is solid C tier. It's got good CC and can be really annoying, but will not carry teams. Appreciate them if you don't have a healer. That's a fair point. I have seen them do pretty well. Like you said, their CC is pretty nice. I can definitely see it being a heavy annoyance, but Again, I don't have enough experience playing or seeing them played to really give a hard, yes or no. So I'm gonna keep that there. But yeah, I would put it around C tier, because they have their uses, but they're just, other classes do the same jobs better. Sage makes me a little bit confused, if I'm honest, and I'll tell you why. Sage is not a healer. Sage is 100% not a healer, and I don't even know how one would argue against that. All of its abilities are damage. And like, yeah, you do still have Cardia, which, it does the usual thing, but it's not a whole lot of healing, and you have to be using doses specifically. Like, pay attention to the character here. Basically nothing else gives you heals except for doses and Eucrasian doses. So your healing potential is almost negligible, if I'm honest. Now, they do have the White Mage Laser Light, which I really do enjoy. That's a cool ability. It's very, very fun. But it just well, I guess that does a little bit more healing because of the Hyma effect. But still, I played a decent some Sage. I played some Sage. I played enough Sage to feel that I do know the class well enough to give it a rating, but I haven't played it recently or with the recent changes. So I'm gonna ask you guys. I would put Sage somewhere at like low B, high C. Because I have not seen a Sage do much in the way of very useful things. But I also haven't seen them played much, and the times that I played, I'm fairly certain I've been using them wrong. Sage for me is A tier above Dark. It is a DPS machine with minor utility. Its LB is insane point hold. That part I do agree with. That's a good point. Their LB is very useful. You can easily decide in overtime. Sage is point control. Roll with their LB. Hold it. Or push people out of it. That is a good point. Now that I think about it. Because the amount of AoE that they can output at point blank range is frankly kind of terrifying. And there is quite a bit of options, especially with that. Numa's a really good AoE survivability kind of thing. So yeah, I think I got that a little bit wrong. If you don't have a White Mage, you want a Sage. Kind of wish you had access to PvP limit breaks or normal loadouts. Not doing dungeon raids. That would be pretty cool, but I don't know how that would work. Honestly, I think Sage should probably go in the not enough experience class, because clearly I'm just not familiar enough with it. I don't think I've ever pulled off the LB though. Now that I think about it. Like, I've obviously done it, but it is very, very low range. I have... Wait. Can cast that again? That's great. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I will admit that I was wrong there. Kind of putting my own experiences a little bit above my actual mechanics. I haven't been able to make Sage work very well for me. And I haven't really seen Sage do very well often. LB prevents damage from any external... Yeah, I know, it's a bubble shield. And the dot is pretty heavy. You're not wrong. I don't know about it being A tier, though. Because I haven't seen them survive very well. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a little bit too hyper-aggressive of a monk, but... Like, if I ever decide that a Sage needs to die, they've never been able to stop me. Not once. It's always been their team jumping in and helping them. Because Sage doesn't really have any CC to get away from enemies. They have their jump, but that kind of only works for getting closer to allies. Scholar is a support buffer, protect them. Like a queen, their attack, shield, speed buff will carry the team. Mummified drops enemy team's healing. I mean, yeah, but there's other classes that do that better. Finally took the time to set up all my PvP hotbars. I can now play anything I want to. I can play pretty much anything except for Astro. I think what I'm gonna do. See, if I had to put it somewhere, given what I was just told, I would put it about there. I would put it there. Because you're right, they do a solid job for point holding, but they are reliant on an LB that takes a while to get up. However, I do agree that that I probably just haven't been playing Sage as well. So in light of that, I'm going to put it down here with not enough playtime. Just because, like, I feel like my own experiences with that very much contradict what everyone else is telling me. So given that, that tells me that I don't have enough experience with the class to really put it anywhere. There's stronghold potential if they cardio themselves, not as strong as warrior white mage though. I agree. But I mean, if you're going to cardio yourself, you might as well be a magic DPS, which is pretty much what it is. Astro's best utility is the ability to boost LB gain rate for the entire party. That I did not know. It's part of why I really like Dragoon, to be honest, because it only has the gap closing tools to get into a skirmish, but also tools to get out of skirmishes, and can even follow up with it. True. Very true. We're talking about Sage here, so randomly. That's okay. General discussion. Yeah, I'm going to put Sage there, and that's just... Yeah, we're going to leave it there for now. I'll probably do another one of these later, once I get more experience with the classes. But I need to actually get more experience with the classes first, so... Next on the list, a class that I did not think that I would like as much as I do, the Bard. The Bard is terrifying. So... Hear me out. This class is genuinely horrifying in the best way. It does quite a bit of damage. I don't even know if it has support potential. Actually, I do know it does with Final Fantasia. This turns your entire party into building up. It doesn't quite have as much 1v1 potential or output potential as other classes, but I do think it does really good as support DPS. It is fantastically as support DPS, and this especially, it's a second cleanse, which is nice. It has silence. This is one of the most annoying silences ever, because it just decides like, haha, that one. I just realized, and I am sorry. I thought I clicked it over. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, I need to reach out a little bit more. Bard is A tier. I would agree with A tier. So, yeah, I get to use Bard's abilities more. So, yeah, no, I really like Bard. The combo potential that it has is genuinely terrifying. Why did it go that way? That's weird. Might need to fix that. But just... the sheer output, the spice. No, honestly, it is fantastic. I really do like Bard. Bard is so much fun. And Final Fantasia, it's just an AoE weapon skill recast time decrease. Fantastic. And damage increase. Oh, and it fills friendly limit gauges. So yeah, I would say that Bard is pretty damn good. I'm no expert, but I would put Bard in A tier. And I haven't played like a ridiculous amount of it. This is my favorite class to play in what's it called? Damn it, in Frontline. One of my favorite classes to play in Frontline at the moment. But in general, I played it in a decent amount of CC. I haven't done any 1v1s with it, but Bard, from my perspective, it strikes me as just a really fun, solid ranged DPS class. Yeah, thanks for trying to tell me that I had forgotten to tab over. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry. Did not mean to. And then once or twice as well. So, yeah. Everybody does it eventually. I actually enjoyed Frontline playing Bard. Actually enjoyed CC too. Yeah, hell, that is very high praise coming from you. No, I do believe that Bard is in a really good place at the moment. It's got decent output. It's got some AoE potential, not much. But, no, it's really good support fire. It's kind of like an artillery piece. You don't want people to be diving on it all that much. You don't have a lot of escape potential or CC potential if someone does. But you have solid, consistent damage that you can drop from range, and even the main ability, it gets more damage the further away you are in relation to its max range. So you really do just want to kind of be on the edges of a fight shooting in. Don't think you'd enjoy it 1v1. Oh yeah, no, Bard is awful in a 1v1. I would know that because of how many times I have killed Bards in the 1v1 when I catch them out in CC, but didn't have to test Bard in combat. Bard is a lot of fun. It's I do very much enjoy it. I haven't played with it as much as other classes, but the bit that I have played, it does seem pretty strong. So just gonna go pretty quick with this one. Hopefully I remember to switch over the stuff. I am gonna put Bard. Okay, hear me out. So I would actually, knee-jerk reaction is to put it here above Paladin, but it does its job so much better, in my opinion, than either the Paladin or the Reaper. And his job is support fire. So in that regard, I would actually put it about there. Maybe there, but I am biased towards Monk. So what do we feel about that, guys? LB is very supportive. Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely think the Bard is A tier, 100%. I don't think it's quite as good as Dragoon, Ninja, or Monk. And I think it would be a little bit interchangeable with Dark Knight to an extent. But I'm not sure. I feel like the placement is about right. It's neck and neck with Monk. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I would agree with that. Say between Dark and Monk is fair. Also, Bard Glance are top tier. Yeah, that is important. Yeah, I would say that it does its job very well, as Monk does and as Ninja does. I do think Ninja is a little bit above both Monk and Bard because it has more versatility to it, as well as being able to do its job so well. And I do think that Monk has it does have more carry potential. Not by much, because it's more of a cockroachy class, survivability. We've talked about that. But yeah, I think that's pretty good for Bard. If you guys are okay with that, then I'm okay with it, because I like that placement. So we continue. Next on the list, we have Machinist. I actually have not played Machinist all that much. The bit that I have played a Machinist, though, has been a little bit more on the side of like kind of what how does this work? I don't know how this works. I know you're supposed to spam that and get your heat off, but I don't know. So the thing that really bothers me with Machinist is this crap. So you do an ability, it hits, and then it changes. And then you do another ability, and it hits, and it changes again. Now, I don't dislike this. Except, actually, no, I do hate this. I absolutely fucking hate this. I don't think that drill, air anchor, bio whatever, and chainsaw should all be on the same thing. That part is really stupid to me. However, it's got so many cool abilities. And especially with scattergun, scattergun is so freaking annoying. I cannot tell you how many times I have been blasted with a scattergun. And the air anchor having a stun, that's fantastic. But it's this crap that I don't like. So the chainsaw, if you use chainsaw and you have analysis active, just end that so we can look at this in peace. Okay, so if you use chainsaw and you have analysis active, you get a 3% chance to just insta-kill your target. Why? That is the only boost, by the way. So 93% of the time, you're getting nothing from hitting analysis on chainsaw. But sometimes you get an insta-kill. This makes no damn sense. And honestly, like, why is this here? Why is this here? Why does this work the way that it does? It just... Boy, Machinist is nasty. Yeah, Barge could use a speed boost somewhere. That would actually be pretty cool. Plugging it into their cleanse ability would be nice, like an AoE speed buff. She is killing people 50 yelms away. Your LB, they're under 36k. Yeah, it's great. It is great. Once you get the rhythm of the skill as one of the larger impacts in fights, definitely. Machinist needs a reload switch to switch between its abilities. That would be cool. Lore add-on to hold over from Final Fantasy VI because Edgar had that ability. Crimson, I'll read that in a second. There's literally a reference to FF6 Edgar, who the tools are based off of. Get a 3% insta-kill chance with his chainsaw ability. That just... It's still bad. That ability, it makes no sense. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. It's a bad mechanic. Like, honestly, it feels cheap even when I'm playing Machinist, because I've gotten this off and it has saved my life sometimes, but it's so inconsistent that it's like, why? It feels bad when you land it, and it feels bad when you get hit by it. This is just, I do firmly think that this is just a bad ability. Specifically with analysis, by the way. I don't know. Machinist is weird. It's even worse because that 3% chance is AoE. That is ridiculous. I'm gambling a jackpot. It's wiping the enemy party. 3% chance to team wipe. I know, it's... I don't know if it's 3% per target? Oh yeah, it's target's HP. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. If you land that on a tank, then there's a chance that you can wipe the entire party. Maybe it's different, I don't know. Sam can set up a team wipe, and Machinist can just dice roll for it. Pretty much. It's a 3% chance. Why is it like that, though? If it's a 3% chance, it's going to feel cheap. No matter what happens. So, like, honestly, remove the insta-kill, separate Chainsaw and Bioblaster from Drill and Air Anchor. Get the AoE abilities away from the single target abilities. Those should not be done in sequence. That is dumb. And, yeah, take away that 3% kill. Maybe like a 3%... I don't know. Maybe 3% is just dumb. That shouldn't be an ability activatable at all. However, despite all of this, Machinist is an incredibly powerful class. I've seen it absolutely dominate matches. And, yeah, their little drone here, that by itself is crazy area control. It's very, very annoying. Is that slow as well? No, but it increases damage taken. Because the sequence issue is a powerful job. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think like LB is just pick a target and kill them outright. Just set them up for it. Also bring it down to 50% HP hit and it might be better. Yeah, but even then, 3% should not be a thing that you have to spend a second ability for. It's a gambling button. It's pointless. Maybe instead of... Okay, so look. Instead of that... What else? So how about this? How about this? So... Bioblaster has an AoE heavy when you land with the analysis. So instead of doing an insta-kill on 3%, have analysis do, like, I don't know, an AoE silence for a couple of seconds. Or maybe not silence, but like, I don't know, could do like a freeze, could also be a heavy, maybe a bind. Something besides an insta-kill, because that's just ridiculous. Trade it for an additional dot. Or dot. Dot would be fantastic, actually. Like, yeah, have the analysis be a damage over time kind of thing, because it's a chainsaw. It's probably going to, like, rend and leave bleeding wounds anyway. So that would make perfect sense. It's a good idea. Thank you. But yeah, the insta-kill on the chainsaw, it doesn't feel good to use or to be used on. Actually, kind of okay with it being 3%. That's fine, but I'm still going to say it's a bad mechanic. Something you can't plan around, which does in fact make it a bit more interesting. Okay, I agree with that, but not in a PvP scenario. Because if you notice, by the way, like, just take a look at this real quick. 4K. 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 They removed all RNG from PvP, which is a good thing, by the way. Having any kind of RNG in PvP does make your like wins and losses feel much cheaper. RNG does not belong in PvP. I will fight to the death on this. The abilities need to be tight, clear, and very obvious in what they're doing. Imagine losing purely to a dice roll. I know, right? Any RNG instant KO isn't okay in something competitive. Thank you for pointing that out, Robert. Greed change, real bleeding effect. Yeah. Burn dot, same thing. Now, honestly, I think a bleed would be better. Or, hey, you can even turn it into a damage amp. Make the next X amount of attacks, or just like turn it into a mug, basically. You shred through their armor, they take more damage now, whatever. But insta-kill, no. No. Anything that insta-kills, I already think is just no. Samurai being the most egregious of them all. But obviously I'm a little biased on that. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe, I don't know. We're done talking about that. But a 3% dice roll on an insta-kill, on an ability that you have to burn something else for, it feels awful to use, and it feels awful to be used on. So... yeah, I need to stop ranting about this. Used to do a dice roll at the time when I don't get a lot on that goddamn mounted triad card. Don't need it in PvP. Thank you! Thank you. Clark, I'm glad we agree on this part, at least. It's like, you're usually the person that I'm debating against, which I do appreciate. I like that you bring that into conversations. Need someone to counterman me every now and then, keep me on my toes. But yeah, no, RNG in PvP, it does not belong. Now they're trying to pay homage to the original FF6 mechanic, just make it deal extra damage to people with health or something. Nah, even that, just no RNG. Turn it into a bleed, or do maybe an execute, maybe an AoE execute. That'd be a little unique. The old school assassinate. Yeah, just do more damage as targets are lower health. That's fine. That's totally fine. And it can be in an AoE. So there's still team wipe potential for it if you're careful with it. But nah, okay. If I stay on Machinist, we're going to be here all day. So let's just get back over to here. Machinist, I am thinking at the moment, despite my issues with it, I'm going to say that it is somewhere in A tier. I don't know exactly where it would place, though. What do y'all think? If you want RNG, go to the gold saucer. No, right? I absolutely love the reference, but it shouldn't be insta-kill. I'd be satisfied with just a 3% chance for Jason Matt to show up on every use. Yeah, I'd say just remove the RNG mechanic, period. Mid A tier? Yeah, I would say mid A tier. And I would actually, as much as I love my monk, I would put it about there. Maybe above ninja, just because it's ranged and it does similar stuff. But I think, personally, my hot take on this would be Machinist and Ninja are a little bit interchangeable depending on scenario. But I think Ninja does a little bit better in more scenarios than Machinist. How do we feel about that? Am I spazzing on that front, or does that make sense? I actually remember to drink something. That was awesome. Dragoon, Ninja, and Machinist are neck and neck. Yeah. I'm probably a little bit biased towards melees, just because it's what I played most of. Like, obviously, as you can see. Skill makes a difference between them. Yeah, I would agree to an extent. I do think that, I guess just because Machinist is ranged, it does have a little bit more safe options, but Dragoon and Ninja can easily shut down a Machinist if they decide to. So I think this is where we're going to put it right now. That would be my go-to. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that's where we're going to leave it at the moment. Unless somebody has something to say, which by all means, bring it up. This is a discussion stream, so if you guys don't believe that's where it belongs, then by all means correct me, friends. When that happens, I'm going to take me a drink. Remember to hydrate, guys. I actually have water today. Maybe because nobody made coffee this morning and I'm too lazy to make it myself, but hey, whatever. So anyway, monks are the bane of Machinist's existence. You cannot change my mind on this. Honestly, it's because we choose to be. So, now it's time to cry. No. But, final closing out on Machinist, specifically Machinist versus Monk. The reason I put Machinist above Monk is because it has more AoE damage potential, and it has more, maybe not more team utility, but it has more lockdown utility, specifically in CC. In a 1v1, I am running every Machinist right off the map. They are going to sprint away from me, and they're not going to be fast enough, and I will prove that. But, and I probably should have specified, this is specifically for Crystalline Conflict, more than anything else, because I feel like that's what most people are playing right now. But I do feel like that Machinist has a little bit more to offer the team than Monk, because Monk is just inherently more of a selfish kind of character. So I'm leaving it there for now. If anyone disagrees, I'm afraid to bring it up, but that's where we're stopping that discussion at the moment. Now is a weird pick. Dancer. I am not sure how to feel about Dancer. It's got cool abilities. I haven't been able to make it work very well. But I mean, like, you have your dash that leads into that big spicy ability, which is really cool, and that is good damage output. And it only takes 2 of your avant-garde to pull off, which is really nice. So you do have some damage potential. I feel like there's something missing here. Dancer is just not good. Something about it just overall undertuned. Which is very strange because it feels good to play. Skilled Dancer can wipe full teams in seconds. I don't know about that. Dancer is going to be probably the first non-healer that I put into not enough playtime. If it gets caught once, it dies. Oh yeah, definitely. And the problem that I ran into when I was playing Dancer is all of these wonderful AoE abilities you have to be pretty much point blank in order to use. Except for that one. Wait a minute. Okay, that one. Okay, never mind. I thought that one was point blank AoE. Either they changed that or I wasn't paying attention. Fair enough. And it gets caught frequently. Yeah, I have noticed, and Dancers are another one of the classes that I feed on. Their limit break is fantastic because it basically sends everyone away, or it... What does it do? It charms? Yeah. Charms nearby enemies for 2 seconds. It's kind of like the Reaper's LB, where it has the potential to be really, really strong, but more often than not, it's just a mild disruption. Dancer has a fair bit of potential, but I do kind of agree with Kalar. It's very easy to lock down. So from its limit break, it feels like a non-presence in the fight. Yeah. Yeah. And closed position, I mean, I guess it kind of works as a support. Yeah, reduces weapon skill recast time. And all of those pop. I don't know. I don't know. Dancer's a weird one, and I haven't played it enough, so I'm gonna put Dancer in not enough playtime. I just have not messed with it enough to really say one way or another, and I haven't really seen them play it all that much. If I had to give them a ranking, it would probably be somewhere in like high C or low B, but I don't really have enough experience with them to really say. They have decent support, they're well-rounded, but they're sometimes something you pick to fill in if you can't get anything else. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now, as I don't feel comfortable making a hard call on it yet, so I'm just not going to. But now we move on to the Black Mage. Now, Black Mage is a bit of an enigma. I have not played Black Mage very much, but I do know that Black Mage is inherently terrifying. Like I can easily see Black Mage being S tier, but I haven't actually played it, so I don't know. But I have seen the amount of output that Black Mages can output, so yeah. Knee-jerk reaction, I would put it somewhere like high A, low S. Ignored Black Mage is a menace to the team and targeted Black Mage is dead. That's true. I guess a lot of the times that I've been up against Black Mages, I just haven't focused on them enough, so that's totally fair. See, I guess like mid to low A would be my knee-jerk placement for it, but I haven't played Black Mage at all. I think I played like one match of CC with them and didn't really do very well there, so yeah, I do agree though, and ignored Black Mage is an absolute menace, but I have also completely run the fade on Black Mages before. So this is going to be another one, and I know this is like a cop-out answer, and I do apologize for this. I just don't have enough experience. Black Mage can definitely wipe teams if left unchecked, but they're glass cannons. Yep. I agree with all of this, but I don't have enough experience to say. So mid to low A is where I'd put it as well. It can be very powerful, but it's hard to execute under pressure. Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed is that Black Mages do need a little bit of run-up time, just in general. So, fair. I'm going to go ahead and move on, though. Let's talk about Summoner. Summoner is very strange to me, because the initial abilities to output feel great. But now what do? I have a solid 8 seconds before I can do anything else, except for Ruin. Black Mages need run-up time and someone to peel for them? Yes. Whoop, wrong button. So, Summoner is very strange for me. Summoner is above Black Mage, believe it or not. I would believe it. I have not been able to get Summoner to work, but I do see the potential for it. It has so much burst damage. And Summoner has so much area control, it's annoying. Oh yeah, definitely. If there is a Summoner on the enemy team, I just accept the fact that I am taking constant tick damage. And I'm going to be bound every few minutes, or every, few seconds. So their LBs are great. Both of them, I found. Phoenix is pretty good for survivability and team support. And Bahamut is fantastic for just outputting scheisse loads of damage. Slipstream is great for area control. The Titan Clap is also fantastic for area control. Fester is just good extra damage. Crimson Rush, I think it's called. Crimson Cyclone into Crimson Strike. That's a really good kind of just run them down and execute ability. I just feel like it has so much downtime between your burst that it's a little bit painful to play, but I do recognize that Summoner is very powerful. It's AoE control and strong burst, yes. Summoner very nice in front lines. Also, very true. I do believe, however, that Summoner has a similar issue to Black Mage, where if a melee decides that you're going to die, there's not a whole lot you have to say about it, especially if your burst is down. Because most of the time when I'm playing a Summoner, the biggest issue that I have is like a Dragoon or a Ninja or a Monk decided that I needed to not be a thing anymore, and they proceeded to violently prove their theory. So, I don't know. I do think that is an AoE. Ever been chased by a Summoner? It's not fun. I don't doubt. There's a fourth reason not to collab together. It'd be Black Mage. It'd be Summoner too, I assume. Summoner very nice front lines. Have you ever been chased by a Summoner? It's not fun. Once or twice, but usually I'm the one chasing the Summoner. Whenever I play Summoner in CC or Frontline, I just got singled out and deleted before I could even figure out what was happening. Yeah, Summoners are very dangerous. As stated, they have a lot of output. I think a Summoner like Mage Reaper with additional burst. That is a fair point. It has really powerful uptimes, but the downtimes are painful. So, given that, and given the fact that its LBs are very, very strong, I don't believe that Summoner plays as well as it could. So I would put it at B tier for it needs like a little bit of adjustment to make it, I don't know, maybe more consistent, or I don't know. I do feel like this is incorrect though. And that's my personal bias coming out. Yeah, don't play range in CC because they tend to be first priority. They can't do much while getting focused by melee. I agree. So that's where I would put Summoner for me. Given what I've heard about it, though, I would kind of want to put it there. And I'm putting it below Monk for the specific reason that I don't know. I think that's kind of boiling down to I believe Monk is just more fun to play. I mean, summoners, I've seen them as very hit and miss. Like, you either have a really good summoner or a really bad summoner. There's no in between. So I'm not really sure. Seems right on being mid-A. Like I said, I would put it in like high B, because I think it does need a little bit of adjustment just to make it feel a little bit better to play. But I mean, I can't argue it. It has got really powerful burst. This PvP, it's all I me want to do CC match of my Dragoon. Go do one, man. I am happy being either tabbed out or second monitor content. That is fine with me. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I would put Summoner, given the discussion that we just had and what I've heard about it. I personally would put it at high B, but given what everyone says about it, I would say mid A is about where it goes, with me trying to remove personal bias as much as possible. So what do y'all think about that? Remember to hydrate. What do we think about that? How long have I been recording? Damn, been 2.5 hours. Holy shit! Sounds about right. Kind of waiting on Kalar to say something, because they've been very active. It's pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, fair enough. I would say, though, honestly, a lot of A is interchangeable. Why is Blue Mage even on the list down there? Because this is just like a general class tier list. I didn't have time to make one specific for PvP. Guys, chill. Yeah. One thing I will say, by the way, A tier is where we want all classes to be, in my humble opinion. Because the way I'm looking at it is S tier is performing way better than they should, and like being an absolute menace on the games. A tier is strong, powerful in the right hands, annoying when in the right hands, but there is counterplay and you can lock them down if you know what you're doing. B is good but needs work, but at the moment fun to play. So that's why those are there. C is kind of like B tier light. It's like maybe needs a good bit of work but not quite as fun to play, which I would say, you know, like Scholar and Astro are in here, and Dancer maybe. And then D tier is just, God, it needs work. I know Gunbreaker's all by itself, but come on, man. D tier just it desperately needs work, quick, fast. So anyway, I think we're pretty happy about that. A tier generally interchangeable based on situation, and I think that probably sums it up pretty well at the moment. So, oh hey, there's only one more class, and look who it is. I mean, do we even really need to talk about this? Alright. I'm going to. There's reason number 2 why you don't crowd together, but in general, you're fucked against Red Mage alone. The skill of Red Mage determines entire matches regardless of meta. Hard S tier with nerfs. Yeah! And actually, you know, fair point. I was being kind of on the generous side, putting it under White Mage. I would actually say that these two are kind of interchangeable just because they're so unreasonably annoying to fight against. What's your thoughts on Dancer, but have seen it a few times in CC? If I had to guess its placement, say high B, low A. Dancer, I would say like mid to low B, honestly. It's got some decent ideas behind it, but it needs some work. But no, Red Mage is oppressively overpowered at the moment. It is in the hands of a good player. Red Mage is so oppressive, it's not even fun. So let me tab back over and try and demonstrate this. I don't play Red Mage that much, fair warning. But in general, if I remember correctly. So yeah, on White Shift, you have that, and it's an AoE silence. Powerful. You have your usual dual cast shenanigans. You have that, which is this magic barrier. Is that an AoE? Yeah, it's an AoE, which is fantastic. And, yeah. Then you have Black Shift, which has Frazzle. Increases damage taken by nearby enemies. It's just, there's so much going on with this class. And it's, okay, so Resolution is either an AoE silence or an AoE bind, depending on which shift you're in. Then your abilities change as well, which is nice. Your dive in, that gives you increased damage to target and decreased damage taken from target, which is ridiculous. And then your backstep increases damage of next spell cast, so bang and then bang bang. And yeah, there. Red Mage is terrifying. And then this, I haven't really seen this used like as well as it could be, but it is versatile. I don't think anyone's really going to dispute at the moment that Red Mage is just, it's violently oppressive at the moment. It's fun for your red ass. The thing with Frazzle is the 20% AoE healing reduction. Yeah, it's just, it's so... Okay. I'm going to say what I believe. And then I'll let you guys discuss. Red Mage is oppressively overtuned to the point where I believe it is on the level of Samurai in being annoying to fight against in games. And is definitely on the level of White Mage. I'm putting Samurai higher because it has that insta-kill, which I've said many times is the most egregious sin that I have at the moment. But yeah, Red Mage it's oppressively strong in the right hands. Mage is overtuned in black, but only one skill in white, and that's silence. No, you switch to white when you're holding a point and need to survive and help others fight. White is so underrated. Honestly, both shifts are incredibly powerful. Red Mage does not have a downside. It's got your melee combo, which is ridiculous. That creates a barrier even, and it does damage over time. Okay, so in White Shift, it's a barrier, and you survive more, which, yo. Very good for holding a point. Kalar's on the money. In Black Shift, it does damage over time. So, yeah, and it's the same thing with all of them. This is... I'm about to be angry, guys. Because this does what Gunbreaker tries to do, but better and simpler. I'm going to stop ragging on Gunbreaker now. No, I'm not, but for this stream. So yeah, I don't think anyone would really object to me putting Red Mage up there. It is... It's just... It's so... It's wow. I don't even know how to talk about it, really. It's just it's very, very strong. It survives incredibly well with his melee combo and White Shift. And it's the AoE shield and it makes your healers do more heals, and your LB is a combination heal and dot cannot be reduced by guard if your initial hit is before guard. That is disgusting. Mage is hard to balance because any one thing too low and you screw the job. True, but it's still it's still. I've been using the term a lot, but it is still very oppressive. And I stand by that description. A good red mage determines a game. I agree with that. Whoever said it earlier. Like I said, the only reason it's below Samurai is because of Zenketsu Ten, and I'm not backing down on that one. That ability needs to change. But red mage is definitely a close second. So we have what seems to be a pretty decent spread right off the bat, and let's go back through the classes that I don't have enough playtime with. So this is my tier list for me and my experiences. Let's talk about a more general tier list with everybody. So Scholar, we said let's go through it again. So Scholar, I think we mentioned that this was either high C or low B. Was I wrong with that? We're going to rate all of these real quick just so we can have like a solid full tier list. Because there's a point that I want to make here, and I kind of need this to be filled up to do it. We don't talk about Blue Mage. No, we don't. If all those top 4 are on the enemy team, you're going to have a rough time. Oh yeah, I've been in that situation before, and it was awful. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the mage would be balanced with some of their skills, had longer timers, I think. I would agree with that to a certain extent. So, let me try and organize this as I believe it is. Whoa, wrong button. Wrong button. Wrong button. Not what I meant. There we go. Okay. That about there. So, how do we feel about that? Scholar on paper sounds okay, but I think I could use improvements. Never played it myself. Yeah, it really just feels like damage stat padding. I'm pretty sure like this would be kind of the way to go. I don't remember if Sage was A tier or not. How do we feel about like this general setup? Maybe Dancer's like, maybe Dancer's below Scholar. Maybe Dancer's C tier, actually. Because it's got some good stuff behind it, but I agree. It feels like a non-issue in basically every game. It's like, though, I love if they gave Blue Mage their own anything goes style PvP mode. That would be ridiculous. I think low A sounds right for Sage. Overall, that feels pretty good with Dancer at C tier. Scholar likes damage compared to other healers, which is funny because Scholar is always top damage because they're dots, but their dots just feel non-existent. But yeah, okay, so I think we're good here at the moment. Unless anyone would like to make a case for moving anything. I really want to like Dancer, but it doesn't do well. Is everyone okay with this? Because I like this. I'm okay with this. But if anyone has anything to say, now's the time. Because I'm about to get into closing thoughts and then probably end the stream. We still got a bit to discuss. A lot of tier judgment depends on their level of impact in a fight. Support classes get screwed with that viewpoint bias in mind. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like tier list looks like a gun. Shh. We want Gunbreaker to be higher, but it lacks so much. I agree. I think Kalar, we have kind of gotten around that a little bit. Because, like, I mean, there's a fair number of supporty classes up here. More or less, anyway. And obviously we have, yeah. But anyway, I think we're good on this for the moment. So this is a good start, I believe. Like this is about how a PvP set should start. You have a lot of classes in A tier that are good, not outstanding, but I'm sorry, not overpowered, but very strong in what they do. I think someone giving the bird. Stop. But okay. So, A tier is where we want all of the classes to be, ideally. And the cool thing I think about A tier is all of these are interchangeable depending on scenario and player skill. Because you can have a Sage that absolutely decimates a CC match because they're so good at area control. But you can also have a Dragoon that barely does any damage because they just, don't get the chance to, or they don't know how to output the damage. Or maybe they use Gear Skogul too much and get blasted into oblivion the second they jump into a fight. So A tier is pretty interchangeable, I feel. Maybe with a couple of little exceptions, but generally all of these classes can make up a good team. S tier, we want to get these out of S tier as much as possible. So that they use some of those control this other character fights to test some of the PvP consolidation. I'm gonna have to explain that one, but so yeah, S tier, we want these to change as quickly as possible because they are just Red Mage especially, White Mage very much so. We've talked about Samurai, we've talked that to death. Warrior, I feel like Warrior is closer to being on level with A tier. If I may say, I don't think they need to change Warrior all that much. Because, and this is my favorite part of this, if they were to get Paladin out of B tier and Gunbreaker out of D tier and move those up to A tier, then Warrior would immediately fit into the rest of this. Warrior is A tier if the other tanks are on A tier with it. But for now, it's just so blatantly stronger than the other tanks and what it does that it's S tier. So we want these to move down to A tier. White Mage is a little bit on the strong side. Red Mage is oppressively overpowered, just overtuned rather, and Samurai just it's a fucking whirling dervish of katana and weeb. So we want those to come down. B tier is good on the precipice of being balanced, but a little bit too niche and maybe just needs a little bit of work to be better. Scholar maybe a little bit more than the others. By that description, I would actually put Scholar in C tier, but we agreed on this, so that's where it is. C tier, these guys are screaming for help. They have some things that they do well, but generally just don't have the impact on a fight that they need to. In a perfect world, everything would be A tier. Exactly, that's what we're going for. And then the Lonely Gunbreaker. God damn it, this hurts. I don't like putting this here, but I can't not. So, like, yeah, D is just why? Why is this class here? Why does it exist? Why did you do this to my boy? Look how they massacred my boy. But yeah, ideally, and in a perfect world, everything is A and B tier. Because we can make the argument then that A is just good and B is more niche but still powerful in the right situation. So let me catch up on chat real quick. Missed the take on Dark. What was the general opinion of that? The opinion on Dark was that it is strong, it is a good tank, and it is a little bit more on the DPS side of tank. It's more of a bruiser, which is why it's kind of lower A tier, because you are more susceptible to just getting mobbed on and killed. But because of its LB and some of its survival options, it hangs in there pretty well. It does the job well enough. It's more of a point hold, cockroachy survival type of class with a decent amount of damage. It's kind of like Vi in League of Legends. Hard to kill, really annoying, does some damage, etc. Decent amount of maneuverability too, which is nice. Look, when you play as Thancred and he has those 4 or 5 abilities and make it a full kit. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. It's a bit cringe. Yeah, I think Warrior is pretty good where it is. It's a bit strong, but not super OP. Yeah, it's Warrior is only S tier because so many of the other tanks are not A tier. Pretty much. So yeah, if Gunbreaker and Paladin are up in A tier, then Warrior becomes A tier as well. Just because they're on level. And Warriors, it's only S tier because it's so good at being hyper aggressive, and so many people play like that, I feel. I'd say Red Mage has too low of cooldowns on its most powerful skills. I agree. White Mage same, but I touch the polymorph. Same needs removal of insta-kill and it'll be fine. I think Samurai needs its dash abilities on its main combo. Like when you do the dash into your main combo, it does an AoE version and an extra effect. Some of those need to be tuned down a little bit, but other from that, yeah, Sam does pretty okay. I do think its numbers are a bit too high with what it does, especially the AoE having a thing where if you only hit one target, damage is increased. It does too much in general, I feel. It's in a 1v1, it will kill any other melee class, no cap. Of equal skill, a Samurai will beat any other melee class. That I firmly believe, even without the LB. If you took LBs out of it completely. But, yeah, a bit of fiddling with the numbers. Well, we should stop using the term cockroachy. As a class, sound like it passes out of a protector. Well, I mean, I'm doing that kind of on purpose, because the Dark Knight is not a protector. It is a survivor. The Monk is not a protector. It is a survivor. The Paladin is a protector. So that one, that's a little bit more of a Guardian kind of thing, I agree. But, yeah, no, when I say something is like cockroachy, I'm talking about it is just disgustingly hard to kill. That's what I'm trying to get across. Not necessarily that it's good at protecting anything, but more of it is a nuisance by virtue of the fact that it refuses to die. You can live with Dark Knight being a bulky bruiser, if nothing else. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It does fairly well. It's like an instantly recognizable term. At least. Like, I can definitely understand. Why won't you die? As a mechanical playstyle. Uh-huh. And, yeah, in general, this is, I feel, a decent representation of where we're at. Yeah, there's a little bias in it. I get that. But I think most everyone can kind of agree that this is roughly where we stand at the moment. And I know everyone's picking on Gunbreaker, but it's only because of Gunbreaker it's not nearly up to level of the other classes. Understandable, but that term is still giving me a negative connotation. Sorry. I can't think of another term to use for it. I'm just moving so I don't get DC'd. But anyway, yeah, that's my tier list. This has been PvP class discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed this, by the way. If you did, don't forget to leave me a like on the video. That does help a lot. Damn, that took a little bit longer than I thought it would. I actually tried to do a tier list video. Or maybe not a tier list video, but a discussion video of the class changes a while ago, but it turned out to be like an hour long by default. Or rather, it was 20 minutes long before I stopped talking about tanks. So, yeah, I had to do something about that. This is better. This is better. Should do one of these every now and then, just to kind of discuss things. But anyway, yeah, I think that's about it for today. By the way, Ara, who is the admin of my Discord, if y'all guys are in it, everyone I've seen has been in it, but Ara gave me the idea to do this, to do like a PvP class discussion, and I'm like, oh damn, that's a really good idea. So if y'all get a chance, thank Ara for for giving me the idea for this and basically saying, hey, you should do this kind of video or this kind of stream. Even more so with LB, to be honest. Oh yeah. Is it fun? Maybe next stream you can give your thoughts on the winners of the weapon design contest. I have no idea what that is, but might be worth looking into. Yeah, it's fun to discuss this stuff. Yeah, very much so. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate any likes, comments, etc. New video just dropped, by the way. If you guys haven't seen that yet, it's the end of the Elpis arc. So by all means, hop over and grab that if you don't mind, or if you're interested. And looking forward to doing more of these in the future. I've actually been really nervous about talking about you know, tier lists and viability and stuff like that. So I'm glad this went well. Because I have this bad habit, especially when I was back doing PlanetSide stuff, of like just talking out of my ass when I don't know things right off the bat. Seriously went from that to this? What are you talking about? So much devious content in one day. Yeah, thanks for viewing the stream, guys. Yeah, more to come, hopefully. Nah, more to come. Definitely more to come. Yeah, y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining, and I will see y'all next round. Goodbye.